Hey everyone, it's Average Gatsby, and welcome to my Dragon Age guide. Right here, we're going to be taking back this village from the Darkspawn. That's right, we're going after Shale in the town of Honnleath. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I'll start off, getting right into the action, and then I'll go back and show you my setup as far as tactics go and everything like that. You'll notice I'm using the Imperial crossbow right here. I picked that up off of the merchant in Lothering, and so I'm going to be using that primarily on my main character for pretty much the rest of the game. I may switch it up and give my tank the crossbow, but for now it's going to stay on me. And you'll notice too that I'm using Sten as a tank. That's something I'm going to be talking about in this video as well, using him, because he can actually be a really good tank, and you'll see that he works out pretty well. I'd say for this beginning part, when you're first going into the village, try to aggro as few enemies at a time as possible. One thing that you can kind of mess up on this whole section is there's lots of areas where there's 2 or 3 different stages of Darkspawn that you can fight, but if you're not careful and you have your characters charged too far ahead, they'll activate all of them instead of fighting them, one group at a time. I'll just go loot here, and then we'll cut over to my tactics. So, what I'm using for tactics on Sten, as you can see, Pommel Strike, if an ally is being attacked by melee attack, he'll use that. I have him using Taunt if he's surrounded by 2 enemies, and just as soon as he sees someone. That wasn't really the most effective way to use it. It does help me out later on when they get in a little bit closer. And then also using a health potus at as soon as his health drops below 50%. You can go back and see Liliana's setup there. It's not really too complicated. And then for Morrigan, I have her using Drain Life if she takes any damage herself. And you saw I was using Winter Grasp there. After the level up, I gave her next talent point that she had put that into heal, and just because you really want a mage to be able to heal, even if it's not primarily what they're going to be doing, you still need that because health potuses have cooldowns, and at this point in the game, I don't really have the ability to get different varieties of health potuses. It's pretty much just the lesser health potus and then health potus. So what I've done here is I paused and placed my characters on hold. I used the hold command and placed them each manually, as you can see, and then I'm unholding them after they get into a good range. After Sten gets into a good range with them, and he can use melee. But basically, by keeping Sten out in front there, I guarantee that he's going to be the first enemy that these Darkspawn target. And that's really important. And then right there you can see he got surrounded and he threw up a taunt, and he's just going to be occupying everyone's time. At this point in the game, he's taking quite a bit of damage. He'll take less as this goes on, as I put more dexterity points into him. You spec him stats-wise very similar to how you would spec a normal tank, a normal dexterity tank, I should say. I'll have some links in the sidebar and a blog entry on tanking, but tanking's a little bit funny in this game in that it's actually more about having your tank dodge attacks than having your tank be able to get hit more often. I'm switching Sten and myself back to our ranged weapons, and I'm going to implement the same similar strategy again. I'm just going to use Morrigan's heal real quick on myself before we go out here. And I have them set on an aggressive stance now because I know that these are mainly ranged units, and I just want them to run ahead and go after them. I see that they're kind of getting themselves in a good position here, so I decide to just go ahead and charge in, especially because Morrigan is way out in front, and I'm a little bit worried about her taking damage. And so I switch back to my melee weapons for myself and for Sten, and so they'll both run ahead. But there's only a few gen locks left, so they're not really too difficult. But you're going to see over and over again that basically my strategy here is to, activate these units one group at a time, and try not to aggro the entire group. And now that we've cleared out all the enemies here, I'm going to loot them, and then we're going to find out what's up with this weird statue in the middle of the town like this, with its arms raised up and everything. I mean, it's a pretty cool statue, but let's find out what it is. Huh. I wonder if this is the golem,
like a golem, doesn't it?
That guy was talking about before. Let me get back to the combat. You can kind of, read what's happening right here, but one thing about Sten in the beginning with him being a tank is he gets a lot of strength very early on. I didn't pause and show his stats here, but he's level 7, and already he has, I believe, 35 strength. Most of his points are in strength when the game, when you first get him, and then it's very easy using sort of a glitch in the game to get another 6 strength out of him. And I will have a link to what I'm talking about. I don't want to talk about it too much here, but basically there's a conversation that you can repeat over and over and over again with him and get his, I guess, friendship level up to 100% in the first conversation that you have with him in camp. So that's something that is pretty cool, and something I exploited here. You don't need to, but I just thought, oh, what the heck. He's already not as good as Alistair at this point for tanking, so I might as well give myself, some kind of advantage here. Alright, so what's going on here is, in that large room that you saw I just opened up the door, it's a really bad idea to charge in. There's actually 3 separate groups of Darkspawn in that room, but if you run to the middle of the room, all 3 groups will activate at once, and you'll be completely surrounded, and your tank will just be overwhelmed with taking damage. That's really the hardest thing about your tank early on, is just the survivability. If there's too many enemies, a heal spell and a heal potion still won't be enough to take them out. As you can see, I have Sten on. I had him on a hold position, and then as soon as they get close, I, let go and let him move forward a little bit. But as soon as this is over with, I'm gonna put him back on hold and make sure he doesn't charge out ahead. I want them to come into this area because the way I have Sten placed right now, and the way I have my Morrigan and Liliana placed, is they're not going to take any damage from those Darkspawn charging up the walkway, up the staircase right there. And so I'm able to basically fight the enemy always on my terms. And that's really what you want to do. You want to be the one to decide where and when you have any sort of fight. You don't want to be surrounded. You want them, to have to funnel in here and get caught up fighting Sten and also fighting my own character. I'm not a tank, but I can take a fair amount of damage and, not really have to worry too much. And as you can see, the strategy works very well because some of them are not going to follow you all the way. And at this point, I knew that there was only about 3 left, and so I knew I could just sort of charge in here. And I wait right here at the doorway because I, once again, want them to funnel. And as soon as they come in, that Hurlock just walks into death, basically. And then finally, now that there's only, there's so few left at this point, I figured I could just charge in. One thing I also like to do is charge to the back row with my character. It works out sometimes, and it worked out very well right there. Anyway, I'm Average Gatsby. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please rate, comment, subscribe, give me any feedback you like, and have a good day.